Welcome to USMLE SARTI. We are committed to empowering IMGs. We're excited to guide you on your match journey. Don't forget to click subscribe and turn on notifications so you can get notified whenever we add new content. Also, follow us on Instagram and Twitter for the latest tips and tricks regarding everything USMLE. Now, let's dive into it.
Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. I hope everyone is doing well, and welcome to this webinar where we have Sarthi panelists, match students, and today we are going to talk with students who matched in this season 2024, as well as our panelists and students who matched prior to 2024. So we will have a lot of topics to discuss, but first we will be discussing from the students who matched this season. So what happens after the match? What are they doing? How are they dealing with the paperwork? Things they wish they knew before the match, and some of the other important tips from these students. And then we'll jump into topics, what is hard in residency, or how do you navigate the first year of residency, and some of those experiences and tips that can help you probably do well in the rotations, as well as get you prepared for the match journey and eventual residency. Bit of a housekeeping: you should be able to ask questions in the chat. We will get to it after each speaker is done, or if I can see it, we'll talk about it, and then we can answer your questions as well. Sejal from our team is there as well, so if there are questions for her, links, etc., she will be posting. And that's about it. Hopefully you will find this very productive. So with that, let's jump right in, and we'll start with some of the students who matched this year. As you can see on the screen, let's first start with Ashwini. So Ashwini, welcome, and why don't you introduce yourself, and then we'll talk about some of the topics.
Hi everyone, thank you so much to the Sarthi team, to Pavan sir, who has been a great motivator and support, and to Sejal as well, who has been excellent in coordinating the meet. So my name is Ashwini. I'm from Georgia, United States, and I matched into transitional year at Hackensack Meridian Health. Welcome everyone. I hope you will be enlightened by the end of this webinar.
All right, so Ashwini, let's talk about what you're doing now. After match, what's going on? The paperwork, relaxation, what else happens after the match?
After the match, Pavan sir, it's a big break. It's like you have to tick off all your bucket lists of what you want to do. Take a really good break for some time after the big, because you need to rejuvenate yourself, energize yourself. But apart from that, there's a lot of administrative work, lots of paperwork. You have to get your USMLE transcripts from the FSMB portal. You have to reach your college to send the transcript. So that can take some process, because they need the documents to be mailed, not emailed. They need the originals mailed. So you have to reach to your medical school for that process. And also the program coordinator is going to reach out to you with the basic life science certificate, BLS and ACLS certification courses. Depending on the program, some of the programs may want you from the American Heart Association itself, whereas others may be flexible with the decertifications from life science, health science, and so on. And also, the program coordinator will reach out to you depending on the program. You will have your innovations checklist, that is to enter into the program, and you have to fill in all the documentation work. So that is going to take a lot of time. Apart from all this, I was also anxious about my performance in the residency. I am still anxious. I have still not started residency. So I joined the emergency medicine rotation here at Emory University in Georgia. where I saw extensive, enormous number of cases, which are very important cases, even in your step 3 or which you have done in your CCS cases. And these are real life scenarios, from snake bite to DVT to pulmonary embolism. It was a very nice experience. So I know the workflow of the emergency department. And I feel once you know the workflow of the emergency department, the floors, the ICU rotations during your residency probably will be better, which I'll be able to tell you in future webinars. So this is what I've been doing, Dr. Pawan.
So, since you matched in transitional, there are always questions. What is a transitional year residency? How is it different from categorical? And, what are the prospects after this? So, do you want to shed a bit of a light on this?
I am very grateful that I got an awesome mentor, Dr. Atut, and I'm so thankful to Pawan sir, because without him, I wouldn't have met Dr. Atut. He's such an amazing person. And I want to tell everyone that you have to find your mentor. It's from both the ways. You have to like and they have to like you. Find an excellent, good rotation, get into the program, know their floor rotations, their ICU rotations, or the outpatient setting, in which way you're going to understand if it suits your criteria of the program. And transitional year is a very nice versatile program, because you can go into many super specialties. All of you know you can go into dermatology, surgery, physical medicine, rehab, and also you can go to your conventional specialties like internal medicine, family medicine, and also pathology. So this is what I have researched about. And transitional year gives you most of the rotations like IMGs have during the intern year back in India. Like you have medicine, surgery, OBG, pediatrics, all the major rotations. So I think it's great. And I'm very thankful, and I'm so looking forward to the transitional year.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Ashwini. Great. And let's keep moving. If our attendees have questions, you can always put in the chat and we'll try to answer. So, Felix, let's go to you. Why don't you introduce yourself, where you match, which specialty, and then we'll get into some of these questions.
Okay. All right. So thank you for the invitation from USMLE Sardi. So I'm Felix, originally from Indonesia, Jakarta. So thankfully, like the last season, I matched at internal medicine at Roger Williams at Providence. And yeah, I'm gonna start my residency like this year.
Okay, so are you a visa seeking applicant? Because I want to ask the visa questions.
Yeah, so yeah, I'm seeking for a visa, and my program only like sponsor for J1 visa. So currently I'm still like applying for the J1.
So I think if you can help us understand what happens after the match as it relates to visa. A lot of students have this question, what will happen paperwork wise, program wise. So can you shed a bit of light on what you've been doing as it relates to the visa?
Yes, so I think like Ashwini said that directly after like applicants got matched, like the program coordinator like usually will call or like send an email to all like the match applicants like regarding the paperwork and stuff. So pertaining for the visa, so there's a lot of like documents like requirements like to apply for a J1 visa. So the first thing that initially after I got matched, I need to like ask from my country for the statement of need. I think like it's quite different from country to country, like how to attain like this document. So thankfully in my country, like to get this like statement of need is not like complicated. It's really easy. I got it like in a week. But after like getting the statement of need, you need to like upload like other documents like your CV and then your letter of offer or contract, and also like other documents. And the complicated process in my part is like getting the sponsorship, because like after like getting all the documents like the ECFMG, we'll like process the application like to 4 to 6 weeks usually. Like for me, it takes like around like 4 to 5 weeks to get that like the sponsorship form. But I mean, like it varies from applicants to applicants. Like my friend got the sponsorship, it's only like in week. So I mean, like it's different from person to person. It's like a case by case basis. So mine took a bit longer, like 5 weeks. After like getting the sponsorship, usually like you will get a form called like the DS 2019 form, where this form will be sent to your program or to the hospital where you'll be like doing your residency, and that hospital will send this form to the applicants, and after that then the applicants could apply the J1 visa like in the embassy of the country, or if the applicants is still in the US, they can like go, I think like to the Department of Immigration in the US, where they can like switch the visa from like B1 or B2 visa to J1 visa. I think like that's the brief overview like about the J1 visa.
Yeah. So, and I want to go back to Ashwini and both of you as well. What was some of the things you wish you know before you, now that you've matched, that you wish you knew before you started the journey, that would have made it easier? What things that surprised you in the USMLE journey? Maybe we start with Ashwini. Something that surprised you, something you were not prepared, something you thought, oh my God, I wish I knew it earlier and it would have been much easier, better.
Yeah, thank you for this question. It's very important to know your strengths and your weaknesses. Me being a matured graduate, having a step 3 score was very important. And I gave my step 3 in December. So I say that you have to individually understand your strengths and weaknesses. For me, the surprising fact was if I hadn't given step 3, probably I wouldn't have matched. And I was very, very under the pressurized system during November and December to give the step 3. And I'm thankful that I met awesome residents who gave me insights to how important is the step 3 for me being a matured candidate. And also the match algorithm is very surprising. uh, it does help every student to match, but the algorithm, the way it works, was one of the surprising fact for me.
Okay. Any tips other than step 3 that you have for the students, those who are going into the match?
Yes. So as I said, you have to identify your mentor. Rotations are very important because once you have a great rotation, you have a good letter of recommendation. Letter of recommendation has to come from a mentor who knows you, who can validate your clinical skills, who can say, I know this person very well personally and professionally. So I suggest all the students coming from an international areas, we do not know much about the United States system. So there is a lot of personal development that has to happen on an individual basis. And Sarti's team has been wonderful. I am so thankful to Dr. Hun in our Telegram Messenger group. She teaches a lot about your personal development and your personality, what you can bring to the table. Always be humble, get good rotation so you can get very good letters of recommendations, and start early. Like make use of the resources that you have a great personal statement, and on the day the season opens, have your application ready and send it through. That would be, yeah, my.
Thank you. Felix, back to you. Anything in the journey that surprised you?
Well, my journey is a bit quite unique when I applied for last year. So like to be frank, in the last season, I applied a bit late, like over 1 month late. Like I don't have all my documents ready yet. Like I think like program directors last year could like access the application like on September 29th, I think. and I submit my application like on like late October or like early November. So like that's the thing that when I did that, I did not expect like to get any interviews at all. But for some reason, like luckily I get like a couple of interviews. So that's like the thing that surprised me. So maybe like this, it is like a tips or message to everybody else. So try to get your documents ready like before September, like Ashwini said, like try to get your clinical rotation, your letters, your personal statement, and everything else done. Like try like before August, as best as you can. And as Ashwini said that I really agree. Like I haven't taken yet step 3 yet, but like some of my friends, like they say that having like step 3 like really can get like increase their interviews by a lot. Like some of my friends, by having step 3 with a similar score, they can get like additional like 5 to 6 interviews. So I mean like at that point, like you need to get like as many as interviews as possible. So I mean like I think like in the chat, like they're saying like Nashrin, if I can get your name right. Nashrin saying that is step 3 score matter. So one of my mentors, which is one of the program directors in internal medicine in the US, she said to me that for step 3, score doesn't really matter, but try to get like above 230. That's enough. I mean, like don't get like 240. If you can get 240, 250 is great, but don't like force yourself to get like 250 or 660. I mean, like above 230 is enough for like most of the program directors.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, Ishani, let's go to you. Tell us a bit about yourself, where you matched, and just about your journey. What surprised you? What tips do you have? And what are you doing nowadays as you get ready for the residency?
Thank you so much, Pawan, for this opportunity to share my journey. And I'm very happy here if my journey and experience can help the upcoming doctors. Am I audible enough?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm Ishani Trada. I was born and raised in India. So I'm Indian citizen, went to Caribbean Medical School, graduated from Barbados, and I'm matched in family medicine program at Yuma Regional Medical Center in Arizona. So here I am. What was the next question?
First, congratulations of coming to Arizona. Roshini and I are there.
Thank you so much.
Welcome to the heat. So the question is, what surprised you in this journey? Was there anything that surprised you?
Sure. Sure, yeah, definitely. So I am Caribbean graduate, right? So when I came to India, I'm already good at, communication, so networking with people. So here, after coming to India, I started talking with Indian medical graduates or Indian medical students. And one thing, it's also one tip that I want to share with upcoming students, that be confident about what you have, know your strengths and weaknesses. I have had a lot of US clinical experience as our curriculum as a Caribbean medical student. My curriculum was such that I had to be trained under US medical system for 72 weeks. So I did have experience, but we didn't have enough exposure to get any chance into research. Okay. So whenever I met any Indian student, and they do have hospital affiliated with their college, so they might get a lot of research experience and stuff like that. So I started feeling underconfident, realizing that they have a lot of publication or research experience to share with, and it kind of started affecting my self-esteem. So I would try to know if everyone I'm meeting, if they had any experience or not, and I kind of feel like I should have been more confident. And one of the big factor that can help at that stage would be having a proper mentor. So I was late in seeking out help from Sarthi. I know that there is a lot of stuff out there on social media. There are like free stuff or paid stuff, and there are many people who would be giving you many advices. But having one proper dedicated mentor who can understand your journey is very important, who can guide you based on your application, how you can enhance. And that was very important in my journey. One more tip that I want to give is how you can increase the number of interviews. So the season application submission does not stop at the September. Just know this, that there are so many programs that get accreditation during the process and even after October and November. So even after you submit the application to your program list, you can keep checking the ACGME newly accredited program list, and you can send out your application, and they send interviews right away. So I used to check that on every weekend, that what are the newly accredited programs, so I can send my applications. And even if you're not even if you do not want to measure those programs, but it can still make you feel confident and calm during the process, because it's a process itself is very long, right? From September to March is very long time, and it can be it can be full with anxiety and stress. So having good number of interviews really help you to stay calm, and that's how you can fetch more interviews. And my life after match. So I'll share a little bit about that. So from the on the day I matched, and I got to know my program's name, my program director called and welcomed us. After that, the visa process starts, because I am Indian citizen, so I need visa, and I have not. I was seeking J1 visa. So as Lee explained all the process in short, so the biggest time taking process in visa thing is getting statement of need. That was in my particular situation, because in India, like, there are so many students who are applying for statement of need. So it's very important that you start sending your documents early on, because it's a long process. After getting SON, they will be sending it to ECFMG. They will have their own processing time, and then they send the DS 2019 to your program, and then they mail you to your home address. And after that also, you need to fill out DS 160 form, and you need to get appointment at the consulate in your country. And the slots might not be open if you are late. I'm still seeing right now there are so many people who are seeking slots, but they are open in July and stuff. So you might get late in getting visa. So it's important to gather down all the documents early on and start applying for statement of need. And it is important to start looking for accommodation and figure out your commute situation. I'm lucky enough that my program provides 3 months of free accommodation, so I don't have to look for any renting apartment thing and stuff like that, and they all are furnished, so I'm not looking for anything. But I'm still excited. So what I do is I go on Amazon, I put down the pin code of Arizona where I'm moving, and I try to know like what furniture is available over there, what things I might need. So I carry it along with me. So there is a lot of paperwork, onboarding documents that my program asks for, the vaccination proof, and there are so many paperwork that they sent us in opening account on new innovations and stuff like that. So that is one thing. Shopping and spending time with family, of course. I have been taking break. I'm not working, so that is my focus in life right now. And also commute situation. So when I got to know that I matched, I didn't know driving. So I joined the driving classes. I got my Indian license. I got international driving permit. Because wherever you match, the first thing you need to figure out, does the city have good public transportation or not? Because if they don't have, then you might need to rent a car or get your own car. And that is going to be a huge factor, I would say. Because if the city does not have good public transportation and you don't know driving, then you might get stuck in many situations. So some states provide, in some states you can rent a car based on international driving permit. So it is important that you get it from your home country. And in order to purchase car, you need to have SSN. And in order to get SSN, you need to reach the you need to reach the US border in like 10 days before. Then only you can apply for SSN. And based on SSN, you can purchase a car. So all those things, it is very important to have this knowledge when you're moving to a new city, when you're moving to a different country, what kind of culture they have, what kind of commute and accommodation thing, what areas are safer, how much I can afford to rent an apartment, and what things are available over there. I think the best person is just to ask your coordinator about the areas and about the living situation. In case if your program also provides any accommodation, but they're charging for it or something like that, you can have the knowledge. So it's best to communicate with your coordinator about all those things.
Well, thank you, Ishani. Thank you. And hopefully you will visit Phoenix and Roshini in Cottonwood. So we can have some good time. Do visit Grand Canyon before you start. Otherwise, you won't have the time.
Sure.
Before I
I'm
get
actually moving to, sorry. Also, I wanted to add one more thing. If you have not taken step 3, like I'm still preparing for step 3, so I've taken date in California. So I'm actually planning to go to Los Angeles before the residency. I can finish my step 3. And but I'm definitely going to visit Phoenix.
all right, go to Disney first in LA, right? Anaheim. So, do that. Universal Studios, everything you can do before July, do it.
Sure.
Okay. So before I come to Roshni and Anagha, let's go to Ahmed. Ahmed, welcome. And why don't you introduce yourself? Tell us about yourself, and then learnings from the journey. Anything, any surprises, tips for the students?
Hi, Bhavan. Thank you for having me. It's very nice to see you again, and thanks for Sarti for all the help during my match process. My name is Ahmed. I am from Egypt. I graduated from medical school in 2017. I matched to internal medicine in 2022. Currently, I'm PGY2 in USMLE Hospital in Chicago, Illinois. So I actually, all the previous speaker mentioned very good tips, especially Ishani about after the match, about all the license and social security, accommodation, everything. I have actually a few tips for the new coming residents. First of all, step 3. Step 3 is very important for the match itself, but if you did not take it, as Ishani said, please take it before residency. You will see how much it affects your schedule during residency itself. And sometimes also it's linked to the extension of your contract. And you don't want to have this lingering behind and making you nervous unnecessarily. You already have a lot of stress in your internship year. So get rid of step 3 before residency if you did not take it so far. Regarding the other stuff, try to get as soon as possible the social security. Program should help you with that. They have a certain requirement. You have to visit the social security office. This is the first thing you need to get done. License also is very important because, again, even if you're not going to drive a car, get a license anyways, because this is a form of identification, and also it is important to have your starting date. So later on, whenever you get a car, it affects your insurance, affects everything. Also about the homing. So for accommodation, I would actually suggest, if it's possible, if you can, at least for the internship year, if you can live in a place that's actually walking distance from the hospital, because later on you will find yourself required to be in the hospital 5:30 or 6 in the morning, and maybe you'll come late. So if you are in a walking distance, even if the weather is bad and you are going to take any commute or whatever, but if it's a walking distance, so it will be very easy, even if you're not going to walk. Of course, it's different from place to place, depends on if you are a big city or not, if you have good public transportation or not. But also, keep that in mind. There are plenty of unforeseen circumstances might happen during residency. And also, again, the whole point is to decrease the stress during the residency itself. So living nearby, you might actually, we have the Jeopardy system, you might be called even not in your schedule. So if you are nearby, it will be much easier. You will be in the hospital in no time. So if it's possible, yes. Otherwise, yeah, you have to study the area, know how the public transportation, and if you even live a little bit far away, so you need to know the available public routes, that if you are going to take the bus or there is a train or whatever. So those are the things I believe this will cover all the things before residency itself. When the residency start, I would say most of the programs will have orientation period. Please pay a lot of attention to the orientation, because this orientation is actually, you are required to observe how the system works. So it's not the same even within the US. So every hospital is different. So pay attention what they are saying, pay attention about the hierarchy. The resident had their own hierarchy, the nurses had different one. So this is your opportunity to know how the workflow happening in the hospital. And during your orientation, you will be shadowing senior residents. So ask them, especially about your safety net. Who can you reach to? If you have a question, medical question, who you can ask. If you have an administrative question, who can you ask? If you want to escalate something, how to get that done. You also need to collect a couple of information about, pager numbers, phone numbers, all these things. You don't have to do everything at the beginning, but be vigilant for those. Whenever there is something, you will need it at some point. At some point, you will need help, and you don't have time to figure out how to get help. So please pay attention during the orientation time. Also, you need to use your communication skills wisely. So introduce yourself to everyone so they know you. Also, start learning everyone's name, because again, it's very important for communication, but also later on to facilitate the workflow. If you call someone by name, you actually match their face with their name, and it's easier to follow. So if you introduce yourself and call someone, the other person with name, you will, in no time, 1 month, 2 months, everyone in the hospital will know you. So even if something happened, they know how to reach you, they know who did that. And it's a very good communication thing. Regarding the medical knowledge, so far, like medical knowledge wise, steps are very good. It's actually will help you with the foundation, but the practical knowledge you don't have yet. Of course, some people have more experience if they did residency back home, but even though, you will find there is differences between the real practice. So the most important source will be actually your senior residents. Attendings, for sure, you can ask, but they are not available all the time. Don't afraid to ask your seniors. They are the one who want to help you. And again, this puts us back to the safety net. So if you have a patient, if you have a problem, you have to ask. You cannot just go and try to figure out yourself, especially if it's time sensitive. Ask while you are figuring out yourself as well. Also, I have some resources. I'm going to, share some links for some YouTube channels and also some podcasts. So YouTube channels, they actually go in deep in practical part about how to write a progress note, how to write a discharge note, how to admit a patient. So this thing you don't know during your application process or USMLE preparation. So how to write a progress note efficiently, how to use the EMR, and also that you will be exposed to a whole different universe about billing, about how to actually list the patient problem and everything like that. So at least if you are oriented, you don't have to learn that before residency. But if you know that, you need to know that. So once it comes in front of you, so you can pick up on things faster than your peers, and it will make your life much easier. And actually to improve your medical knowledge as well, because you are not just covering the knowledge. No, you're actually taking care of the patient, creating a plan, executing the plan, and even follow up on the results. So it's a whole different area than just studying for the steps. So I think those are the tips I have. Oh, Bhavan, you are muted, I believe.
Yeah, sorry. So I was saying thank you. Very, very comprehensive set of tips. Hopefully your residency is going well as well. And thank you for sharing.
Thank you so much. Thank you for starting, and it's really nice to have you again here. Thank you.
Thank you. Roshini, let's get to you now. You are a veteran now, of course. So tell us about your residency experience, anything that Ahmed may have missed, or any different experience, any surprises in PG 1 or 2, something you are not prepared for, or something you had already planned. What can we tell the attendees?
Yeah, hi, thank you, Pawan sir, for introducing me. I'm Roshini Pradeep. I'm a second-year resident in Verde Valley Medical Center in Arizona. So I I think Ishani and Ahmed, I was hearing them speak and they were talking about a lot of things which they almost covered. And it was nice meeting Ahmed after our rotation in Brooklyn as medical students. I think both of us did a common rotation in Sardi. Yeah, so anyway, like I think the things surprises as in I would, the top of my mind, I can think of practical situations like getting a driving license, getting a car, finding a place to stay, and figuring out all the commute, SSN process, and all these things were the initial surprises, which I think which is impactful because we don't think so much. Like we do plan ahead when we are back in our country, look up, ask people. But when you practically come here, we understand what it actually means, to in certain locations, you need a car to commute and it's hard to survive without it. And the process of going through the process of, getting the passing the driving test and applying for that, going through car showrooms, looking at cars, checking price different. All these are practical challenges, which I think are something students who matched right now as residents will have to go through once they come in here, which I think they have to talk to people in their program who are IMGs as well, because each state has different challenges in terms of getting the driving license, when you can take the test, and all these challenges. I think it depends on individual states, and I think they need to communicate with their residents to find that out. So I've been working with my interns because I've also been chosen as an upcoming chief in the next year. So I have to guide them through the process. And we have like a lot of 100% IMGs this year. So in our program, so we have a challenge of working through the intrinsics of getting them here. So I did tell them that visa processing, like how Ishani mentioned about the challenges of getting an interview date. So the SON, the interview date, all these are like the acute challenges they will be facing right now, like getting an earlier date so that they need to come here 10 days to get the SSN, and then they can apply for the background check and all that orientation part. So I think those are the immediate surprises I can think of the top of my mind. And also, like Ahmed was telling, learning EMR, learning to do a proper note, HNP and a progress note. All these are, even though we might have experience working back in the home country, doing notes and everything, but there is every program has its strategic approach of how they do it. And just to YouTube, like how they were saying, to understand how a note is done, so that not on the first day you're not totally surprised on how to do HNP in the system. So I think those are the major things off the top of my mind I can think of. And I think as internal medicine is something I would say, and I've been telling the same to our upcoming residents, like try to spend time with your family, do some things, you wanted to do, because you're going to learn AFib, MI, management, hyponatremia. And once you come here, it's going to be the bread and butter of internal medicine, and that's going to be everyday life, and they will learn it. So this time, I think it's more important that before they come here, have a little bit time with their family, go on this hike you wanted to go for a long time, do these things which you wanted to do, visiting Grand Canyon.
Yes. So, maybe I'll start with you, then go to Anagha and switch gears a bit, and also go to Zehdi later on. You've spent now almost 2 years in residency, Anagha also, and Ahmed. You must have seen a lot of applicants, right? Formally, informally. What mistakes have you seen of the applicants? Because we will have a lot of students again apply this season. So now, thinking back as an applicant, what mistakes have you seen? What are your tips for applicants in the current, upcoming season?
Yeah. So as applicants, like more than mistakes, I think things what we miss to do is that we are more focused just on the exam part of it. Like taking the steps is all, many of us are like putting all our energy on working on. It is important. I'm not saying it's not, but it's like also the part where Sarthi helps out a lot, Pawan sir and team, about the building the personal statement, building your CV, adding research publications, all these things, and learning to do how to do an interview, how to talk to people when you are in an interview, because this virtual interview has its benefits and limitations, but the way you speak in an interview on your Zoom is what they portray you as a person. So all these are like other holistic things which people who interview look for. So not to take these things easily. I think all these things are important to match. And some of us like focus on just the scores, and then we kind of, get easy to work on this until closer to the application date. And that will become a bigger difficulty because personal statement is one of the very big thing which tells a lot about you and needs time to work on. And I think Sarthi team does a very good job in guiding on all these additional things in addition what we need to be doing. Telegram pages, they are actively talking about all these things. So I think, as Pawan sir and team will guide all of the candidates about this, but this is something we need to definitely pay attention to. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Anagha, I know you've been waiting very patiently, so you're on mute, but welcome. And why don't you introduce yourself? You have an extensive experience in India as well. And so introduce yourself and let's continue the same topic, tips for applicants, mistakes you have seen now as you review applications. And of course, neurology has become a lot more competitive. So how can students prepare such things?
Hi everyone, I am Anagha.
Your voice is a bit muted. So
Can you hear me now?
yes, now is much better.
So I'm Anagha, I'm an IMG and I'm from India. I finished my residency in India before moving to the US. I completed neurosurgery. I was working for 2 or 3 years and then I decided to move and apply to neurology. I think the most common mistake that I see, even in the questions, I see people who are saying that I can only do 2 rotations. I'm an old graduate. This journey is hard. And I think there are many applicants who will be as competitive as you, so you can't fall back anywhere. It is expensive, no doubt. So if you choose to do this, do it wholeheartedly. Otherwise, any half-hearted application is usually going to get filtered out. Neurology also requires pretty high scores. I think 230s to 240s are what we look for. Otherwise, applications might get filtered out. I think things that surprised me were everything. Like everyone has already spoken about a lot of these practical points. I moved here with my family, so things were super, super tough, like finding a daycare, the wait lists are long. I think the most important is calculating the cost. Like for me, how much your salary is going to be actually what looks to be like on paper is not what you will get in hand. So try to see the taxes, just try to ask your seniors how much you get per paycheck. Rent should not be more than at least half of your salary. So calculate your rent, your expenses, have a list ready. I had it somewhere, but I couldn't find it today to just share it with you. But usually you'll spend about 100 on utilities like electricity, gas, water. You have to pay for these extra. You'll spend about 150 to 100 on fuel each month, depending on how long you travel. Other than that, you'll have to pay for your car insurance also. With these are all additional costs apart from buying a car. Buying a car itself is a challenge because no one will give you a loan. So you either come from India prepared with that money for a down payment, talk to your senior residents if someone is selling a car, whoever is moving, or look for cars from private sellers. So I think these are like important practical tips which come in handy later on. There are a lot of these dealers who will sell these auctioned cars which are very bad. So go to a mechanic, some trusted Indian mechanic, try to find someone and talk to them. One mechanic actually told me, I went and showed him each car, but he's like, don't buy this. So I think these things are really helpful. And he showed me how to look for cars from private sellers. So that has really helped me so far. Opening a bank account, you should just open a bank account the moment you reach. You don't need SSN for that. You just need the J1, the DS 2019, your passport, and that should be enough, and your hospital contract. Chase will give you a 200 direct deposit bonus. So that's where I opened my bank account. Other than that, I think my other challenge was learning the EMR. Epic took some time for me to catch up on. So if you can watch some YouTube videos or try to learn some way before you actually start rotation, actually start your residency, that might be helpful. So I think just calculating these additional costs, how much your health insurance is going to cost you, how much the car insurance, because you're new, so everything is going to cost you more. It will not, you're considered a new driver. Also, you can rent a car on your Indian license in some states. You don't always need to go through the international permit. It depends on every state though. So I rented it on my Indian license for almost a month because I needed it for my child. So again, these are additional costs. I think money was the most important factor that was a hindrance for me with everything, given the journey and the rotations and all of these. Epic, now I've gotten better at Epic after a few months of using it every day. And at the VA, we use CPRS. So that was again another challenge. Overall, it's going to be challenging. I think that's what I'll say. There will be so many obstacles, so many things that you have to do when you get here, and you are going to be clueless. It's best if you have someone like joining Sarthi helped me in that sense, wherein I had someone to always voice out my questions to. Always find someone who you can reach out to for these small things and someone who's willing to help you out, because it's difficult to find out. Like here, you have to find out all the information on your own. There are no call centers. The HR department is remote, so it's not like you can just walk in. Like when I came in, they weren't accepting my son on my health insurance for almost a month because they said he needs an SSN or an ITIN, which is a tax number, and he is not eligible for that. So there are going to be unexpected challenges. So just be prepared, be mentally strong. Don't let them bring you down. I think that's about it.
Yeah, no. Thank you, Anagha. Your journey has been very, very inspiring, and especially change of specialty coming here with your family. I know you've gone through a lot. So thank you very much for your tips. Zehdi, let's go to you. So you matched this season. So what are some of the surprises you saw, or what are your tips for the applicants?
Hello, Dr. Kira. Thank you so much for this invitation. My name is Zehdi. I come from the UAE, United Arab Emirates. I graduated from a city called Ras Al Khaimah over here and applied for 2 specialties, internal medicine and family medicine, and matched in family medicine at Western Michigan University. So my experience through the match season was really great. I had a total of 21 interviews. It was a lot of hustle, and you know, I was also doing my home country residency here, so it was a lot of time to manage, a lot of effort to put, and after matching, so one of the surprises is the statement of need, because maybe a few of the people who watch this video, I hope that they come from UAE, but I know most applicants are maybe from other countries. However, here it's a little different. So we don't have a lot of people matching from my university. It was a little challenging to go through the process and get a statement of need, which took me at least 2 to 3 weeks to get from the time I contacted them. But how I tackled that is that I try to pull up my contacts, whoever matched from previous years, whoever I can find. There are not many, but there are a few. So ask them. There were a few of people who got it from here, from the UAE, so they guided me to the process, and this was really helpful. Asking the contacts who guided me to the process, and then applying as soon as possible, even before learning where I matched. From the moment I heard that I matched, I just went ahead and asked for the process. So it took some time, and it was a little stressful, the wait, because I know that I have a lot of work to do after that. And the process after I got the statement of need was that I applied through the ECFMG to get my DS 2019. And imagine that I did not get my DS 2019 until almost the 1st of May. So it took a lot of time to get the DS 2019. And as soon as I got it, I called the ECFMG, and they told me that you can go ahead and pay the service fees, but applying for the visa will be at your responsibility because you don't know when you'll get it in hand. But I ended up getting it in hand quickly within a week. Thankfully, my program used the expedited shipping from the ECFMG to them, and then from them to my address in the UAE. So that also expedited the process. And then I applied to the J1 visa, and that application actually gave me an appointment as far as the middle June, which was really far, and I felt I don't know what shall I do because I have my home country residency. I should give them an answer whether I'm leaving or not. So I kept checking the consulate website, and luckily, checking every day, I got an appointment that is like 1 month earlier, which saved me a lot of time. I applied for the expedited appointment. However, they did not give me the appointment for some reason. I think because one of the rules to give an expedited appointment is to have my my school start date earlier than the than my actual consulate appointment. However, practically this will put me in a bad situation, having my visa after after my residency start date, and there'll be a lot of delay. So checking the consulate website on a daily basis made me get an expedited appointment, and I went for the appointment. It was a smooth process, and now I got my visa. Now I'm working on the other arrangements, like having my accommodation and all that. I think this is the best part that I can benefit the people who are listening to my talk today. However, there's something else that I can add that the speakers before me did not touch upon. I'll be happy to do so.
So, Zehdi, what are your tips for applicants who are applying to multiple specialties like you did?
Yeah, my tip is to know, first of all, which specialties to apply to. You cannot combine any two if they're not related at all. For example, say neurosurgery and family medicine. This will not work. But first of all, you should apply to closely related specialties. For example, I chose internal family. They have a lot of overlap. Maybe pediatrics and family would work. Obstetrics, gynecology, and family medicine would work. So some certain combination that will help you build a CV that will please both sides, because you cannot bring a CV that will please both a neurosurgeon and will please an internist. So having two closely related specialties, something to start with. Then the LORs that you get. I applied with 3 internal LORs and 1 family LOR. And the good thing about the LORs that you can assign different LORs to different programs. So I had many LORs for the family medicine programs. I assigned my 1 family medicine LOR from a family medicine rotation, and 3 LORs from internal rotation or subspecialties, but they're recommending me for family medicine. So not only I'm asking for a family medicine rotation LOR, but also an internal rotation that recommends me for a family medicine residency. So if you're planning to apply for 2 specialties, when you do your rotations, you ask for LORs. You can ask for 2 specialty LORs, 1 for internal, 1 for family, for example. Other thing is to have good interview skills, because you should be careful during your interviews. For example, you don't want to mention in the family medicine interview that you want a subspecialty like cardiology, which will not happen after family medicine. You should study both specialties well, know your options, know your choices, know what you can do in both, know the structure, know what these like and what these don't like. For example, family medicine, many of them are community oriented. They want to hear about community engagement activities. dedication to the community, and some other things that you need to work on. For internal, maybe they like more of research, more of subspecialty rotations, pulmonology, cardiology, and so on. One last thing, perhaps, is of course to have all your step scores and all your research, all the package that you need for any residency, have it ready, that you do for any other residency, to please both specialties that you're applying for.
Thank you very much, Zehdi. So Ahmed, as we wrap it up, back to you. Tips for upcoming season for applicants. Again, you've been now in residency, you must have seen a lot of applicants. What tips can you give them?
So first of all, step 3 again. Other steps are essential, but step 3 is very important as well. If you can do it, it's very good, and it will be actually part. You can make it while you are doing a US clinical experience, so you don't have to come just solely for the step 3. During my time, it was COVID times, I was able to do some tele-rotations. To be honest, I'm not sure how are tele-rotations now, but I still hear people doing tele-rotation, and you can. I'm not sure because I'm not a program director, but during my time, it did not hurt me, no problem at all. I would say also having everything ready in a way that actually your CVs were written, your letter of recommendation are actually more personalized. All those important stuff that actually Sarti also help us with that. So if you have those ready, I think you are doing whatever you can. Everything else is just, you are waiting for luck. I understand we have very good tips about programs outreach, about how to write your CV, personal statement, and everything. So if you do your part, you will have outcomes. So you just need to keep trying and try your best, and just keep trying. And you are not the first one, and you're not going to be the last one. Many people with different profiles are matched. So you will match eventually, but just keep trying. That's it.
Thank you, Ahmed. And I'll stay back for questions, but I'm aware of my panelists' time. So let's go back and see, Ashwini, anything that we missed and anything you want to add as tips for the upcoming season?
It was really surprising to learn from Ishani, Zehdi, even Anagha, and all of them, because I live in United States. I'm so used to this system. Now I remember when I initially came here, it was a big shock, guys. So in India, the roads are in kilometers. Here we run in miles. The freeways are super fast, 75 miles per hour. Some of the freeways speed limit is. So even if you learn driving in India, the driving in United States is very, very different. And I would always say your go-to shop in the beginning should be Walmart. Walmart is everywhere. It's a big super center, and I think you get majority of your groceries, your minimal clothing to begin with. You should go to Walmart. That's where I went when I migrated. And if you want to use public transport, there are passes, so you can buy the passes. That will be very, very helpful. Otherwise, you're going to end up paying a lot of cost on everyday public transport if you're using. Until and unless you get a car, buying a car is really an issue. Like Anagha said, getting loan and all that. So yeah, it will be a shocker, but you all will go through that.
Thank you, Ashwini. Ishani, any last minute tips for the upcoming season for the applicants?
Sure. One thing that I would like to mention here, that having connection and networking is really big factor. It was so surprising to me during the season that I've noticed that so many of the people who you might think that, old graduates or not many US clinical experience, but they had so many interviews, and the factor that helped them was having connections and staying in touch with their seniors and networking during their rotations or externships. So that helped a lot. When I mean, like when I was in US, I didn't focus on that enough because I was kind of overconfident that I have good merit, I have good step scores, so I will anyhow get interviews, and I don't like need to rely on connections to get interviews. But I really cannot stop emphasizing on this thing that I've noticed and learned through this math season, that when you are there doing clinical rotation, it is very important to leave a good impression, stay and talk with your fellow applicants or fellow students, fellow externs, and stay in touch with the faculty members, and even talk with other groups. Like, you know, one hospital will have different specialty and they will be having students from all different specialties. So try and talk with other students and attend the conferences or attend the, like, even Sarthi group helped me out a lot, like the Telegram group. Like, you know, this is very surprising, Pawan, because last week I had I had OFC appointment to get my biometrics done for the visa. And I met so many Sarthi students whom I might have talked in Telegram group or just for like when I was making program list or something regarding that stuff. And now I'm actually seeing them. And it's like, oh, Ishani, we spoke. And I was like, yeah, you're Sarthi student too, right? So that happens, okay? So networking, talking with people help you a lot. And that's all.
Thank you. Felix, any tips for the math season, upcoming season for the students?
Maybe my tips is like maybe if you have already taken step 1 and step 2, try to take step 3, because like it's gonna like help you guys a lot to get more interviews. And then prepare all your documents, like your letters, getting your clinical rotations, and your personal statement. Be ready like by August, because like don't be like me who apply like late. And also like get your ECFMG certification ready, because like last year when I was applying, I realized that like most of the programs that I'm applying, like I was applying, like require ECFMG certification like at the time of submissions. And at that time, because like I don't have my ECFMG certification ready yet, so I don't have like a lot of options. So yeah, try to get your certification ready. And also like in the last season, when I attended like my interviews, I realized that like lately like program directors, like scores is important, but now they are looking for other qualification as well. So like clinical rotation, letters, they looking for research, publications, and other things that you can offer to the program directors that other applicants don't have. So try like what I'm saying, scores is still important, one of the most important factor, but try to like focus on other stuffs as well, like research and clinical experience and so on.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Anagha, anything that we missed? Anything that you want to say before we wrap up?
No, not really. I think everything has almost been covered.
Thank you. Well, thank you all the panelists. Good luck in your residency, and thank you for your time today. And to our audience, I'm going to stay back if you have any question we haven't answered, but thank you all. Ashwini, Ishani, Zehdi, Ahmed, Felix, Anagha, bye, and good luck. Keep in touch.
Thanks. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
To our audience, if there are any questions, you can now put in chat and I will try to answer. Otherwise, of course, get in touch with Sejal. She can get you all the information you need. If you have questions, of course, I'm around.
Thank you so much for watching. We hope that video provided valuable insights for your journey. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Instagram and Twitter. And check out our website for details on how we can guide you to a successful match.